Bernie Sanders is a beast. Bernie Sanders is a badass when it comes to higher education. He's not just going to cancel all the student debt like Ilhan Omar's Student Cancellation Act. So he's not just going to get everybody, free college and cancel all student debt, but he's going to cap student loan interest rates at 1.88%. So I remember there was a land company that was charging 17% interest rate. So keeping it under 2%, that's amazing. He's going to provide Pell Grants to low-income students, and he's going to triple the funding for the work-study program. So it's not just free stuff, right? It's, specific things, right? Capping the student loan interest rates so that way they can't use usury and, gouge the shit out of you. He's going to also require participating states and tribes to cover the full cost of obtaining a degree for low-income students. He's going to put a cap on student loan interest rates, eliminate tuition and fees. He's going to invest in historically black colleges. So there's a lot of planks to this plan. Now, when it comes to the Student Loan Cancellation Act, you have 45 million Americans who have outstanding loans. 45 million Americans, that's the next bubble that's going to burst, and we're going to be in another great recession. Now, this is from Bernie Sanders' website. He says, you are not truly free when you graduate college with hundreds of thousands of dollars in student debt. You're not truly free when you cannot pursue your dream of becoming a teacher, environmentalist, journalist, or nurse because you cannot make enough money to cover your monthly student loan payments. And you're not truly free when the vast majority of good-paying jobs require a degree that requires taking out tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt to obtain. So 45 million people have taken out at least $1.6 trillion. So there's a $1.6 trillion bubble of debt. $1.6 trillion worth of debt that 45 million Americans hold currently right now. The average college student in the U.S. graduates with close to $30,000 in student loans. 1 in 6 college students will be stuck with over $50,000 in student loan debt after graduation. The reality we face is more than half of the students who enroll in college don't complete a degree. Millions are leaving school with no degree and thousands of dollars in debt. Nearly 40% of college students would consider dropping out in order to avoid incurring more student loan debt. It's not just a crisis for young students and graduates. You got 3 million older Americans who have student loan debt, and you have 40,000 of those elderly Americans who are having their Social Security garnished. They're taking their Social Security check to pay for, student loans that they took out probably, decades, 50 years later, and we're still fucking over the oldest Americans. So 2/3 of all student debt, nearly $929 billion as of 2019 in the U.S. is held by women. 2/3 of all the student debt is held by women, so this is good for women. It also helps the racial gap. Something about the racial wealth gap for young Americans would go from 12 to 1 to 5 to 1. So it helps with the racial gap. It helps with women. It's universal, so it helps the rich people too. So everybody's student loan. So that's $1.6 trillion. We're $22 trillion in debt. People say, well, how are you going to pay for free college? Anytime anybody proposes, some solution that helps people, they want to know the cost. But if we're going to kill a bunch of Mexican people or Palestinians or Iraqi people, I'm sick and tired of white America killing brown babies. I'm sick and tired of white America killing brown babies. I'm so tired, it's just so damn racist. Yeah, all the problems just come out of all these poor countries that don't have nuclear weapons or a military to defend themselves. Yeah, I'm sure that's really the goddamn problem. So I'm tired of Palestinians, babies in Palestine dying in Iraq, and the 7 immigrants, Hispanic immigrants have died in American detention centers. So that's unacceptable. So we got 45 million Americans who have $1.6 trillion in student debt. 8 million Americans have more than $50,000 in student debt. 40,000 old Americans are getting their Social Security checks taken. And this would boost the economy. Not only does it free the students up to be able to invest in assets and a home, it also boosts the GDP by $108 billion per year and adds 1.5 million jobs per year over a 10-year period. So you want 1.5 million more, new jobs. You want $108 billion being pumped into, the GDP. So we're creating more stuff. We're creating more jobs. This is good. This is good for the economy, and it's good for the individual students. And then it's also, the free college is great for the people that go to college now. But what about, the people that went to college? So let's get free college for everybody, not just the people going into college now, but everybody that went to college. 45 million people, right? So $1.6 trillion. We can tackle that. We can take care of that, and then that will free a lot of people up. And like I said, 2/3 are women. The racial wealth gap for young Americans will be cut in half, more than cut in half, from a 12-to-1 ratio to a 5-to-1 ratio. So that's why Bernie believes, canceling all student debt is the best way forward. He also has some statistics about essentially college students. You can't get food stamps if you're going to college. So 45% of college students report struggling with hunger, 56% struggle with the cost of housing, 17% say they experience homelessness. So Americans want to go to college so they can better themselves and have a better, be able to help society better, get better skills so they get a better job and therefore get societies, something else more than just cheap labor. And by bettering themselves and bettering society, they're struggling with hunger, homelessness, housing, in the richest country in the history of the world. Students shouldn't have to starve in order to get an education. Just 30 years ago, tuition and fees at a public 4-year university totaled $3,360 per year. $3,000 per year. Now it costs $10,000 in tuition and $21,000 including room and board. That's $3,000 up to over $30,000. My God, I thought college students are supposed to be smart. I thought they're supposed to be the smart ones of society. How did it go from $3,000 to $30,000? You not lobbying your congressman? Did you all take any civics classes in college? I know you didn't take any in public school, so did they eventually teach you civics in college? Median hourly wages for college graduates have risen by less than $1 since 2001. So 30 years ago, $3,000 would get you, into college. And yet, $30,000 is what we got to pay now. And then wages haven't gone up. Only $1, less than $1, and that's when adjusted for inflation. So the promise of higher pay has not materialized for recent college graduates who have been taking out more and more in student loans to keep up with the skyrocketing cost of tuition. It has led to a generation of young people unable to start their families, buy homes, and follow their dreams. What the fuck, college? Jesus Christ, you're stopping people from building families and buying homes and following their dreams? College just seems like it just wants to stop you from succeeding. It's almost like college is more of a hindrance, more of a harm than it is a benefit. Perhaps when the students have the power, that gives us more options. So that's why Medicare is such a, Medicare for all. If you're poor and you go into the hospital, they won't treat you right. They'll treat you like you're poor. And that's fucking bullshit. So what? My money isn't good enough here? Bernie Sanders has a lot of good ideas. He wants to provide $1.3 billion to private, nonprofit, historical black colleges and universities and minority-serving institutions every year to eliminate or significantly reduce tuition and fees for low-income students, and he wants to end equity gaps in higher education attainment. And it says that, in the 21st century, we need a free public education that goes from kindergarten through high school on up to vocation, community college, and undergraduate college. So higher education should be a right for every one of us, not just a few. So a universal college program is exactly the direction that we need to go. Like I said, good for the economy, good for the students, that they're liberating. Triple funding for the work-study program. They're going to have $1 for $1, try to get the states and the tribes. But if we get free college, I don't know exactly how this all shakes out. So it seems like there's a lot of smaller ideas that if we don't get free college, then we could do things that would, drastically reduce the cost of college. So we're going to get something, right? We're going to get some higher education reform, and whether it's absolute, free college, universal college for everybody, including student debt cancellation, or if it's going to be some other, that's what I would rather. That's the policy that would be popular, it's simple to understand, and it would last forever. If you're an American, you're born in this country, you get to go to school. You get to have health care. You get to go to a hospital and you get taken care of, and your children will be taken care of so that way you could go and get a job so you could be a productive member of society. So free child care, free education, and free health care is exactly where this country needs to go. That's exactly the direction. We've been capitalist for 200 years. This country could survive. Not only could it survive 4 years of socialism, but it would thrive. It would basically just turn America into a goddamn, invest in this country, put the trillions of dollars, and this place will be bumping. This place will be fucking fantastic. So we can make great America even greater. So I'm John Masters. I'm proud to be an American. Peace.